Hey everyone, it's Lexie. In today's video I'll be doing my snow day reads. So these are 5 books that I've come up with that I think would be perfect to read when it's snowing, like a blizzard outside. Some of them do take place when it's like cold and wintry and like during snowstorms, so that's why I thought they would be perfect for it, but they're very atmospheric in terms of that sense. So it makes you feel nice and cozy if you're like snuggled up on the couch with a blanket, nice cup of tea and like the fire going. So yeah, without further ado, let's get started. So starting out, I first have Mean Streak by Sandra Brown, and this is like a thriller. So it follows a doctor who is training for a marathon. So she goes to the Smoky Mountains near her house and is running a trail until she wakes up with a big bump on her head in the stranger's cabin, and she doesn't know what happened there. She just knows that she is in a really bad situation. But basically what's going on is she ends up getting stranded in this cabin with this mysterious man because there's a snowstorm taking place, and so she's trying to figure out what's going on, like how did she get injured, who is this man that's kind of saved her, like she doesn't know. So this is a very fast-paced novel. I could not recommend it enough. I think I read this 2017 or 2018, I'm not sure, but it's just very fast-paced and quick, and it's like so many plot twists, like you don't know what's happening until you're like, oh my god, I can't believe that just happened. So yeah, I really love Sandra Brown's books. I've read quite a few of hers now, and all of them I found have been very snappy. Every chapter, it seems, ends on a cliffhanger, so you just want to keep reading. And because this takes place in like the Smoky Mountains during a snowstorm, I think this would be perfect to read on a cold and blizzardy night. Next, this is another one that takes place during kind of a snowstorm, and I think if you saw the title you would know, and it is The Girl in the Ice by Robert Bryzenda, and this is the first book in the Erica Foster series. So it follows a detective who is in London, who is a homicide detective, and essentially this very affluent family's daughter is found dead in this frozen pond during also another snowstorm in like January in London. So it's obviously very cold, and so they think it was just an accident that she's there, but she thinks there's some foul play involved. But because the family is so affluent, they kind of have some influence over the police department, so they're not looking into it further, but she thinks something else is going on. But this one was just a really good novel. It was really intense too, because you do get the perspective of the killer, and he, like, learning from their perspective was just really creepy and eerie. But I loved getting introduced to Erica. I felt she is a really complex character, and especially like some of the older crime novels that I've read like that I really love, like Rizzoli and Isles, the Cormoran Strike series. Like this one, it kind of falls in line with there as well, which is nice, and it's also a little bit more modern as well. Some of the older ones like Rizzoli and Isles and Temperance Brennan and the Kay Scarpetta series, they're kind of a little bit older, so a little dated, but this one's a little bit modern as well, so I could not recommend this book enough. So next, this is a book that I haven't read yet, but it's on my list, and I think it would be a fun one to read just because I've read another of her books, and it is Spinning Silver by Naomi Novik. And this is basically a fairy tale where basically this girl finds out like she basically has the ability to turn silver into gold, and it kind of takes off from there. But knowing like from what she has written in Uprooted, this will be dark and twisty and very atmospheric, I'm hoping. So I think this one will be perfect to read during the winter too, and I think fairy tales that have a little bit darker I think are really fun to read as well. So I think this one will be perfect to read all snuggled up on the couch, and so this is definitely one I'll be reading this season. So this book screams like snowstorms to me, and it is The Bear and the Nightingale by Katherine and Arden, and this is the first book, and I think it's the Winter Night trilogy, I think it's called now. But basically this is a fantasy story that's based on Russian folklore. So it follows this girl who's growing up in the outskirts of Russia in the forest, and her mother passes away, and she's been told about these stories by her, basically like her grandmother, about these like ghouls and ghosts and like spirits, and it's really creepy. It's like, I think you have to go into this just not knowing too much about the plot, just go into it as it is. But it's very atmospheric. It does take place in Russia during the winter, so it's like perfect atmospheric read for a snowy day. But I just be aware this book is a slow burn, so it's not until like halfway through where it actually starts to pick up and get interesting. So I was really struggling for the first bit, but then once you kind of get through the halfway point, that's when it really picks up and starts getting really good. So I highly recommend this book. It would be a perfect book to read during a snowstorm, so I think you guys would like this as well. And lastly, this is another one that I have on here that I read last Christmas, I want to say, and it is Winter Garden by Kristen Hanna. This is one of her other novels. Basically it follows two sisters who growing up have a very dysfunctional relationship with each other and their parents, and their dad was basically the one who held them all together. But when the dad passes away, they're kind of forced to kind of deal with all of the issues that they had with their mother, and so it kind of falls there. So she tells a story, this fairy tale story that she used to tell them as a kid, when they were kids, about the invasion of Stalingrad during World War II, and it kind of has some dual storylines in here as well. But I really like this. It's not my favorite. It's not like the Nightingale in any way, but it's still a very good novel, and because it takes place again during Russia during the winter time, I think this is a perfect one to read. But yeah, this one was just really good. I love how it showcased like the different complexities of the mother and daughter relationship and sister-sister relationship. So this one was really good as well, and it's quite the tearjerker, so just be aware. But yeah, this book, even just looking at the cover, you know it's a good snow day read. So that's it, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know in the comments below what some of your favorite books are to read during the snowy days. And so yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, and I will see you guys next time. Bye, guys.